In my journey through the Ace Science Fiction Specials Series 1, I've been anticipating this moment. The 15th book of the Ace Science Fiction Specials, The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin, 1969, first printed edition. I want to just briefly tell you what the story is about and then give you 10 reasons to read or reread The Left Hand of Darkness. This novel takes place in the heinous universe of Ursula K. Le Guin. There is no need to have read any other novels or short stories in this universe. An envoy is sent to the planet Gethin. It is a winter planet. The envoy's name is Genli I. His mission is to see if they would want to join the Ecumen, a group of 80 other planets with humans. Humans have been seeded across the universe eons ago. Slowly, the Ecumen is building an association of planets for trade and knowledge. I's mission is to see if the people of Gethin would like to join this association. However, he's facing a unique sociological and political structure on this planet. Will he be able to successfully communicate with the Gethinians? Will they be interested in joining this association of planets? Within this novel, we also see a second protagonist, a Gethinian named Astraven. To some, he's known as Astraven the Traitor. In the novel, we see chapters sometimes from Genli I's point of view or from Astraven's point of view. We also have chapters which are myths or stories of the planet Gethin. The last third of the novel, we see these two protagonists together, struggling across a winter-torn land for days and days, seeking to find freedom. I don't want to say too much more about the plot, although it is a very good story. What I do want to talk about are 10 reasons why you should read or reread this novel. Number 10. It's an award-winning novel. It won both the Hugo and the Nebula in 1970. In 1975, Locus magazine polled its readers for the best science fiction novels of all time. It was third behind Dune and Childhood's End. In fact, if you look at any best of science fiction list, you will find The Left Hand of Darkness there, often in the top 5. Number 9, feminist science fiction. In 1969, with the publication of The Left Hand of Darkness, Ursula K. Le Guin put feminist science fiction into the mainstream. Feminist science fiction focused on themes such as gender inequality, sexuality, race, economics, reproduction, and environment. Soon, Le Guin was joined by other authors such as Joanna Russ, Octavia Butler, Vonda McIntyre, and Margaret Atwood. Elise Ray Helford says, "Science fiction and fantasy serve as important vehicles for feminist thought, particularly as bridges between theory and practice. No other genres so actively invite representations of the ultimate goals of feminism. Worlds free of sexism, worlds in which women's contributions to science are recognized and valued, worlds that explore the diversity of women's desire and sexuality, and worlds that move beyond gender." Number 8, the 1960s. Known as the countercultural decade, the 1960s in the United States was one of revolution. Revolution in social norms, such as clothing, music, drugs, sexuality, civil rights, schooling, and military service. Le Guin participated in demonstrations against the Vietnam War and nuclear weapons. Number 7, Terry Carr. Terry Carr is the editor of the Ace Science Fiction Specials Series 1. Ursula K. Le Guin says, "Up until 1968, I had no literary agent, submitting all my work myself. I sent The Left Hand of Darkness to Terry Carr, a brilliant editor newly in charge of an upscale Ace paperback line. His appropriately androgynous name led me to address him as Dear Miss Carr. He held no grudge about that and bought the book. That startled me. I wondered seriously about his judgment. Left Hand looked to me like a natural flop. Its style is not the journalistic one that was then standard in science fiction. Its structure is complex. It moves slowly And even if everybody in it is called he, it is not about men. That's a big dose of hard lit, heresy, and chutzpah for a genre novel by a nobody in 1968. As we've seen as we go through the A Science Fiction specials, Terry Carr had an eye for talent and for important literature. Number 6, Universe. The Left Hand of Darkness is set in the fictional Hainish universe, which Le Guin introduced in her first novel, Rokanan's World. In this universe, humans didn't evolve on Earth, but on Hain. The people of Hain colonized the nearby planetary systems, including Earth. Some of these groups that seeded these worlds were genetic experiments, including those on Gethin. In the millions of years prior to this novel, humanity lost contact with each other. Only now these worlds are rediscovering each other and drawing into an association. Number 5, world building. The novel is set on Gethin, or as it is colloquially known, winter. The climate is extremely cold, right at the edge of what humans can tolerate. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and we have snow for 5 or 6 months of the year. In January and February, it's not uncommon to see the temperature drop at night to -30 to -40. Those temperatures are in Celsius. If you use Fahrenheit, -40 Celsius and -40 Fahrenheit are about the same. Here's a picture I took when I was biking to work on a very cold December day. I was impressed with Le Guin's descriptions of snow, ice, wind, and the cold. It rang true to me. Number 4, Gethinians. The Gethinians are different than any other humans within the universe. They are androgynous, without gender differences. They only adopt sexual attributes for a couple days in a month. It is a period of sexual receptiveness and fertility called Kemer. During Kemer, for a few days, they become male or female, not of their choice. Which gender their body adopts is in context with relationships. If they don't use contraceptives, the females can become impregnated. It is perfectly normal for a person to have given birth to some children or to have sired some children. One of the more famous quotes from The Left Hand of Darkness is, "The king is pregnant." Number 3, sociological world building. They live in the world of the present. Every year is year 1 on their calendar. They always mark things from the present, either backwards or forwards. They are gender neutral. To them, maleness or femaleness is alien. This has profound effects on their society. Can you think of things within our society that come as a result of being male or female? The Gethinians have a Taoist view. They call it the left hand of darkness or the right hand of light. Let me read you a quote from page 252. "Light is the left hand of darkness, and darkness the right hand of light. Two are one, life and dying, lying together like lovers in Kemer, like hands joined together, like the end and the way. There is a duality to life, cold and warmth, light and dark, fear and courage, female and male, both and one." So what if you have a world where you can take away the overtly male and female characteristics? Well, children are raised differently, and there's no war. Number 2, the alien within. Earthborn generally eyes unconscious male bias and mannerisms prove to be a barrier in understanding the Gethinians. In fact, the Gethinians think it is perverse to be continually gendered and able to mate. On page 101, a scouting report on the planet relates, "The first mobile," that would be generally the envoy, "if one is sent, must be warned that, unless he is very self-assured or senile, his pride will suffer. A man wants his virility regarded. A woman wants her femininity appreciated. However indirect and subtle the indications of regard and appreciation, on winter, they will not exist. One is respected and judged only as a human being. It is an appalling experience." And then on page 266, I have a quote from Genli I. "During a long journey across mountains and glaciers, Gently I says this about his relationship with Astravan. And I saw then again, and for good, what I had always been afraid to see, and had pretended not to see in him, that he was a woman as well as a man. Until then I had rejected him, refused him his own reality. He had been quite right to say that he, the only person on Gethin who trusted me, was the only Gethinian I distrusted, for he was the only one who had entirely accepted me as a human being, who had liked me personally and given me entire personal loyalty, and who therefore demanded of me an equal degree of recognition of acceptance. I have been afraid to give it. I have not wanted to give my trust, my friendship, to a man who was a woman who was a man. Gently I's 2-year arc in this novel bring him face to face with his own alienness within a genderless society. It brings to question everything that is male and female. And my number one reason for why you should read or reread The Left Hand of Darkness: friendship and love. This novel builds and builds and builds. It draws you in as you read it. You're drawn into a world, into relationships, and a society that is genderless. As I began to care for the Terran Gently I and the Gehinian Astravan in their long journey, I came face to face with my own biases. I thought of the journey of some of my loved ones in the LGBTQ+ community. I dreamed of a purity of friendship and love that was beyond gender and sexuality. Page 237. It is good to have an end to journey towards, but it is the journey that matters in the end. The Left Hand of Darkness is a novel. It is a good story with good prose. It is also a challenge to us to journey in our own personal biases. I give The Left Hand of Darkness 10 out of 10. So will this be the pinnacle of my experience with the A Science Fiction Specials? We'll see. There are a number of good authors coming up in the series. Philip K. Dick, D.J. Compton, Bob Shaw, Keith Roberts, R.A. Lafferty, Wilson Tucker, and another one by Ursula K. Le Guin. So stay tuned for more A Science Fiction Specials. Let me know what you thought of The Left Hand of Darkness. Do you find it to be an important novel? What about other novels by Ursula K. Le Guin? I look forward to reading your comments. Until next time, keep reading.